Welcome into the 100th episode of the Sabermetrics podcast. My name is Bill. Alongside me, as always, is Walt. Walt, how you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. We had a legendary Sabres game against the Lightning on Sunday. It's our
Mhm.
100th episode. I'm actually sitting in the exact spot where I was sitting when we recorded our first episode
Oh,
about
no
five and a
way.
half years ago. So
Yep.
it'll be fun to have this milestone episode and, some great hockey to talk about.
Yes, we'll get the milestone episode thing out of the way. One, thank you for those that have listened. I feel like we've come a very long way since that first episode, that's for sure. And we're looking forward to more because obviously it's just begun, and we'll be getting into that in a second. But from the bottom of my heart, and I can speak for Walt here, I'm going to take that upon myself to say thank you for being part of this. It's a lot of fun. I love talking to Walt, Sabres hockey, and the live streams that we have with people, and engaging with fans. It's just a lot of fun, and it looks like it's only just beginning. Walt, any words on just the 100th episode before we get into what everyone wants to chat about?
Yeah, well, we'd like to thank everyone for listening along our previous 99 episodes. And it's pretty crazy, too, to think about how far the Sabres have come as a team since
Mhm.
we first started the podcast. We started like right around when they signed Taylor Hall, like that off season, and it turned into a disastrous uh season where they finished in last place. And now 100th episode, we're talking about the Sabres at the top of the division coming off a crazy win. So, I guess our loyalty sticking this podcast through for all these seasons when they're terrible is finally starting to pay off now.
Yeah, I mean, can't say we weren't patient for it. Yeah, I mean, some impatience for, you know, year 11, 12, 13, and 14 got a little ugly there, but it looks like they finally made it. I put out a tweet earlier that I'm still in the mode of like job's not finished. Like that was an all-time game. I'm not trying to downplay this game, but again, they have a game tomorrow. We're recording this Monday the 9th around 5:30. They have another game coming up against San Jose, and you don't look at some point they're going to lose a game, and if it's this one, you can understand because it's after such an emotional dump, positive emotion, but an emotional dump nonetheless. You know, I'm a little worried that they take a step back. It seems like this team is different than teams in the past where you would assume is, win one big game and take three steps back. But look, the job still isn't finished. So we have a big week coming up, but we have to do it last night. So Walt and I were actually at the game Saturday. Wasn't exactly the most exciting game. They ended up winning. We pounded some Andersons, which was very much needed. That was probably I don't want to say that was a highlight of my night, but that was a close second to the
Oh
Sabres game
yeah,
because
some beef
that hit the
on
spot.
Weck.
Oh, it was fantastic. Anyway, Sunday night, Walt was there again in attendance. For the people that weren't there, tell them how you were feeling, how the arena was, and just your overall take on the game. We can talk about specific things too. We don't have an outline. We're just riffing, but we can
Yeah,
talk
well,
about
really.
specific things, but overarching.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I just think that game is just kind of a roller coaster. Like first period, obviously it's a great hockey period. Sabres go up 1-0. Second period is, I mean, first period too, you also had like the crazy amount of like fights and it started, you knew it was gonna be physical. And I think really just throughout the game, you're just excited to see like what was gonna happen in the following period. Like you would just go up for intermission, the concourse, and just talking and being like, I'm kind of excited to see what happens in the rest of this hockey game. And I really don't think after that first period, I would have ever imagined there being 14 more goals scored in the final two periods. And yeah, that second period definitely kind of stunk to kind of have that lead like fade
Oh yeah,
away a little bit. Third period, I mean, I'll have to admit, I was not confident when they were down 2 goals,
yeah.
with, like, half the period gone. I kinda thought too, it kinda showed some cracks in the Sabres where it's like, deep down, I was thinking maybe this team might not be ready for the playoffs. Like, maybe they might not be ready for this level of physicality, for this caliber of game. But, I mean, man, did they prove me wrong. Get it within 1 goal, go down 2 again, tie it up, and then take the lead in the end. Really just the atmosphere, the whole game, I thought the atmosphere was great. Like, you'd always tell when they're, like, singing the anthems, when you have, like, a bunch of people, like, just randomly screaming and stuff when it's quiet. Like, I think they're even talking about this on, WGR this morning. Like, when you hear more of those screams, like, that's how you know the crowd's probably gonna be really intense during that game, and,
Yeah.
you felt the energy from the crowd right off the bat, and that end of the game, that was, like, the loudest I've heard the arena probably since, like, 2007. That was just, like, insane, and it was cool to see that atmosphere back.
Glad everyone had a good time last night. Daylight savings time, got out. Well, maybe that was a long game. Sorry, I was gonna say you got out and it was
Yeah,
still
that
light
was
out.
a
It was
long
not light
go.
out by the time that game was
Yeah.
over. Sorry. That was a whiff. But look, I I'll just go over the game the way I saw it is Tampa just had 0 interest in playing hockey in the first 10 minutes of the game, it seems,
Yeah.
and you could see by their shots on goal. And then apparently the Sabres in the second period, and when they decided to stop moving their feet, and especially in the defensive zone and leaving guys either back door or in the slot, seemed like the Sabres didn't really feel like playing hockey at that point, to what you said, down 2 in the 3rd, and you're like, "Oh, boy." Well, look, good learning lesson. It's not whether we won this game or lost this game, it's like, great if we win, bummer if we lose, but it's you have another game again on Tuesday, so fine. But to come back the way they did, and it was and this is exactly what I was yelling about after the Nason hit on Tage last season. It's
Oh,
like, look, you
yeah.
don't need to win the fight and beat the guy to a pulp. You just need to show up. The boys showed up.
Yeah.
They didn't win. I would say they lost most of the fights that they were in. Not egregiously to the point where you're like, "Ooh, that's a bad look." But yeah, I mean, I think Carrick took a hard shot, went down, right back up, kind of thing. Loved seeing Beck Malentine. I'm not a Corey Perry fan, so I was losing it in my basement when Beck
Oh,
Malentine
yeah.
got in that fight. That was awesome. And just my
Darlene too.
reaction.
That
I'm sorry.
Darlene getting in
Yeah,
that fight too is
it's Dahlin and Osland have been the 2, like, recent guys that have taken a swing and
yeah.
just completely caught air. And, of course, why wouldn't they? That's not their game. But, Dahlin getting into it, I don't the whole Hagel on Dahlin thing is kind of cut and dry. Hagel completely overreacted. Saw some people saying Dahlin cross-checked him in the face.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. I mean, Hagel just without the, prolonged prior knowledge, that was a Bertuzzi type play. The only difference was Hagel didn't really connect on, like, the 4 punches he threw at the back of Dahlin's head. That's really it. That was really the only difference. And because Bertuzzi made it, like, so blatantly obvious where Dahlin was like, "Look, no, I'm trying to play," where Steve Moore was just skating away. Yeah, Dahlin was technically right next to him and engaged. Look, Hagel lost it, shouldn't have done what he did, and should have been thrown out. Like, my thing is, imagine if that was a Seattle versus Anaheim game, and I don't know many Seattle Matty Beniers did that to, you know, Cutter Gauthier or whatever. You'd probably be like, "Oh," as a neutral fan, you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that guy needs to be thrown out." But because it's Tampa, "Oh, Dahlin's such a piece of crap, he deserves it." And I have loved every Sabres versus Tampa thing until I
Yeah.
went on, and unfortunately, I saw someone say, "Look, we could bring up Dahlin's family." And then the person responds to them, "No, don't stoop to their level." It's like, "Really? Really?" That's when you know you're not working with people that have everything together. To say to stoop to their level by essentially patting yourself on the back for not being a piece of crap is wild to me. Everything else has been hilarious and I've loved it. That's the one thing that did irk me, but what do you do when you see that on social media? You just, you move on and everything. But I just wanted to get your take on the whole back and forth right now because I had no idea. I was tweeting up a storm, having fun with like people. I had no idea Tampa people were going to end up in my mentions either. I'm sure you're used to it. I usually don't try to get into it with other teams' fans, but I had no idea. Basically, my entire story here is to say I had no idea that this was going to happen when it comes to like the fan bases fighting each other. I knew the teams were it was going to be a rough game. They didn't like each other, but do we have a new rivalry? Montreal, meh, Toronto, meh, Boston, meh. It's Tampa now. I had no clue. That's not what I expected out of this game. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I honestly think this could be, especially with how the playoffs could shake out, this could be
Mhm.
like our new
Yes.
Carolina or Ottawa type rivalry. It's been something we haven't had in really forever, like at least since '06, '07, like those playoff runs. Because I really think
Mhm.
like during like 2010, 2011, like maybe you could say Boston, but the Lucic thing really didn't happen until the Sabres started fading away.
Yeah.
And like the last few years where they're fighting for a playoff spot, they didn't really have that rival, obviously, even though they'd make it to the playoffs.
Mhm.
So I really think this Tampa team could take that spot. And I kind of loved on social media, like the back and forth between the two fan bases. It's
It's
also
been fun.
funny. It's funny seeing Tampa fans talking about how there's been no Sabres fans until this week and stuff like that, and then seeing them somehow get ratioed
Yeah.
on every post like that. Like I feel like if Tampa had more fans, they probably wouldn't be getting ratioed on every post criticizing Sabres fans.
I just don't I'm genuinely this isn't me, like, being a piece of crap, like, "I don't get it." No, I genuinely don't understand, like, how they're this rattled. I don't.
Yeah,
You
I
guys have
know.
won
It's
how
kind
many
of
cups? You've had
interesting.
so much success over your career, and 1 game against the Sabres, and you just essentially lose it? I I don't see everything that's being said to them too. I'm sure it's not exactly the nicest stuff either, but, like, you're Tampa Bay Lightning fans. Like, I kinda thought you would just be like, "Yeah, congratulations on your Super Bowl," or whatever, like, stupid stuff like that, but, like, they're actually upset. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Wait a second, what's going on here?" This is it just I was not expecting it is the moral of the story. I find it hilarious and awesome. I'm not much to partake in that except last night when I got a little bit too amped up after Josh Jones
I'm
goal.
partaking in it.
Um,
I
but
didn't partake during the game because I couldn't get, like, reception at the
yeah,
arena, but this morning I was like, are we really gonna get called bandwagon fans from Tampa fans? Like,
that's awesome. That's
yeah.
awesome. I love seeing that. Keep calling us, but that's fine. Look, we know, like,
Yeah.
Buffalo fans were like, "Okay, we're
I
not." So, like,
never
it's fun when you see stuff like that.
like, we'd see the day where we're called bandwagon fans again. It's pretty crazy. Like, I probably watched, like, almost every Sabres game in the last 25 years.
Oh,
I'm, like, 20 turning 29,
yeah.
so,
Against my better judgment, I've been watching the
yeah.
Sabres for years and years and years and years. Oh, man. Like, again, we know that's not true. So it's like,
Yeah,
those are
no, we
my
know it's not
favorite.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
there's
that's
so many
awesome.
fans too, like, some of our most listened podcast episodes were actually, like, 4 years ago, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
like, in the off season for some of
Yeah.
them. It's
Which
like,
is crazy.
yeah, it's like we have a pretty loyal fan base and people have
Mhm.
stuck around for it, so it's fun to see not just ourselves, but really everyone involved with this team
Yeah.
and all the fans get rewarded with this, fun stretch of hockey the Sabres are playing right now.
I will say you're more kinda like in the weeds and I'm more of an observer. The older I get, the more less I wanna be on social media, and dude, there's some funny people in the Sabres, like, community. I like,
Yeah.
this isn't anything new, but man, there's some genuinely hilarious people, and I find it really fun. Again, this is a sport. At the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things, and that's where I'm like, "Yeah, have at it, man. Like, have fun because this doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things." You know, for everyone's life. It's a sport. It's a beautiful game, as we saw yesterday, with guys basically having to stand in the box because there wasn't space. But
Yeah.
that's where you can really let like your fandom and let it fly. And I love watching it. So, is there anything about the game specific? Goalies couldn't stop crap. That was ugly. I'm not going to crap on UPL. Like this is UPL. He's played very, very well. He's played very well recently, and
Yeah.
he had a not great game. So did Jonas Johansson, which is that John Vogel tweet, man. We need John Vogel back. The Sabres are good again. John, where are you, pal? I'll find you. We'll
Yeah.
bring you on the podcast, man. I just I need to know what he's up to these days.
Yeah, like, where is John Vogel?
I
Is
don't know.
he
He could be in like like an editor or something like that. But yeah, he was like, I'm done with the Sabres. I can't do this anymore. And we're like, that's fair. But he went out with a bang. And past like the last like 6 months of John Vogel, he was just like, yeah, screw it. I'm just gonna let it fly. Just like, all right, let's
Yeah.
go. It was awesome. Oh man. But yeah, is there anything else really that we wanted to touch on there? I mean, I could go for like 2 hours talking about this, but the game was wild. There's some stuff that was probably over the line, but look, you know, both teams didn't really seem too upset after the game. They said it was an awesome game. Went over the, kind of like the Sabres versus Lightning Twitter battle. That's just been fun to watch as well. And Is there anything else? Get any
I
more
will say,
cream ales?
if anyone heard a Microsoft Teams notification like a minute ago, you didn't get a message from your boss. So I forgot to mute my laptop.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I got a couple messages as well. They just haven't popped up. So look, I have some work to get back to once we're done this episode. But
I did
yeah,
have. I don't think I had it. I switched to blue lights on
okay, that's good.
Sunday's game because they weren't selling them at the beer stand I was going to. But
Oh, really?
Genesee Cream Ale Tall Boy, you can't beat it. You kind of have to drink it fast though, because if that stuff gets warm, like that doesn't go
Oh,
down easy. Like you kind of need it
oh,
cold.
that's one you got to plug your nose on, and you're just like, all right, well, I
Yeah.
bought it. It was $35, so I might as well just plug your nose and pray. Oh man, Logan Stanley might be the biggest
Oh, he's
human
in
I've
the
ever seen in my
building.
life. Poor Dan Dunleavy.
Yeah.
Dan's like a big dude. Like you can see, he's like just like a normal guy. Just standing next to Logan Stanley, like, oh my god. But that
Yeah,
really
Stanley's
sucks.
huge. He's
Yeah.
even taller than, like, Tage. Like, he's just
Yeah.
a beast. Has
I
some
think by an
pounds
inch.
on Tage too, like,
Well, just
I
imagine the guys that they didn't have in that game. Greenway,
yeah,
Stanley, Shen. They had
Mason
Zach Betts out
Geertsen,
there. And he held his
like,
own.
if they wanted to do, like, a old school Lindy, like, goon line out against, Tampa's top line, like, you could have, like, Geertsen, Stanley, Josh Dunn, like,
who
all those guys have fought before.
Who said it? Because I was like, "Yeah, bring up Geertsen for that last game, as long as it doesn't matter. If that game matters,
Yeah,
no, no, no,
that's
no,
the
no,
thing.
no, no." But who said it? I think it might have been Fairburn. Matthew Fairburn, everyone knows him.
Oh, I think it
Very
was,
important connection.
Jeff Merrick too tweeted about
Was it
it, one of the national
so
hockey guys.
Merrick said that, but, Fairburn said basically, like, I wonder if this was, and this is like he doesn't have any confirmation of this, so I'm not saying Fairburn like knows this by any means, but he just kind of put it out there as like, I wonder if that was like a shot from Lindy at the guy saying like, Geertsen's going to be on your team because if you can't answer, he's going to be here for it. And if you
Yeah.
called him up now, it's like, hey, we answered. We don't need him. It's like almost like a slap into the face of the guys in this room. And I mean, it might just be one of those things like, hey, just take the night off in Florida. We're going to throw Mason in there just to make sure he doesn't go after blank. But I do understand where he's coming from. I do get that. So, like, I was like, yeah, bring him up. But again, I would assume the game's probably going to matter for some seeding. So don't. But at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily, if I'm in that room, take it as a slap in the face. I would honestly take it as a game to, kind of get your body right or something like that. But I understand where he's coming from 100%. Is there any kind of like thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, like, emotionally, you're kinda like, "Oh, throw Geertsen out there," but, yeah, when it comes down to that game being important, you're like, "Do I really wanna play with 11 forwards? Like, do I really want Geertsen to maybe, like, force Hagel into a fight and then get, like, an extra 2, and then
Yeah.
Sabres are on the PK for something like that?" That's where it gets tricky. I still think that game they're going to try to maybe bring up some more beef. I mean, looking at Tampa, like, they had Sabrin in the lineup that game, like, they had some like, they pretty much had 2 fourth
Sabrin
lines.
Sabrin, like, shout out to Carrick for taking him on, honestly, because, like,
Yeah.
Sabrin's not an NHL player. That's what he does. That's the only thing he's there for. And also, I would just like to say that, with Hagel getting his $5,000 fine, it's so funny that the guy that had, and I wrote it down, it was, I believe, and I threw it out, but it was like 472 games played, 36 points, and 1,092 penalty minutes is the head of player safety.
Yeah.
What what are we doing? Your job was to protect people on the ice. It's literally the only reason you had a job in the NHL. And then the second you get into the Department of Player Safety, you're like, well, technically because of the CBA. And it's probably because they called him on a double minor, not a major, or didn't throw him out, which that goes on the refs too. But and look, if Peros's hands were tied, I can understand that, but it's the optics of having a former goon. And I understand he's a very nice guy and he's very intelligent. That has nothing to do. I'm talking optics here. That a former goon, the only reason he was in the NHL, he's still a very good hockey player, but the only reason he was in the NHL is because he was a goon. He's your head of players safety. Again, I do understand, and I've heard it from a million people that he is a nice guy and he's very intelligent, It's just optically, it's not good. It's not a great look. And that I bring that up for when something happens between Dallas and Winnipeg. It's the same thing. Or like I said, that example, Seattle and Anaheim. This isn't just a oh Hagel went after Darlene. No, this is just in general kind of thing. And it just so happens that we can talk about it here. So any thoughts on that specifically? I know I've brought it up before,
Uh,
but I just yeah.
it's always been an NHL problem though, because like even before you had someone like Colin Campbell at player safety, and his
Yeah,
son Greg Campbell is, a more physical player, like definitely gets a decent amount of penalty minutes every season when he was in the league. So
it's
it's like
true.
you have guys that are just affiliated with playing dirty hockey running like the suspension thing. I guess it somehow makes sense because those guys will know like what stuff to pick up on because they're the ones that
Yeah,
also play dirty. But at the
like
same time,
what's
yeah, it is kind of weird.
yeah, for them to, like, pick up, like, what's over the line or, like, what wasn't, like,
Yeah.
necessary. But, like, I'm sorry, like, if trying to punch someone in the back of the head who is not trying to engage with you, and that's a whole 'nother conversation, like, Donnelly, why are you starting something, which I don't think he did on that play. I don't know what was said or if he did something beforehand, but, like, that he's not engaged with you very clearly, and he is skating away, and you start throwing punches at the back of his head or at the side of his head when he is very clearly not engaged, like, how do you not look at that and be like, "Okay, you shouldn't have done that." That's over the line.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Come on, George. And again, his hands might be tied because it was a double minor or whatever. So that's on the refs. Like, look, like I don't know, maybe they thought that like the Sabres would get him back, and I guess Peyton Krebs is the one that got him back. So like they're preventing something from coming up the next game. But
That they really
I don't
they
think
didn't
it stopped
prevent
anything.
anything. They didn't prevent anything from coming up this game. If they wanted to, they would have kicked Hagel out of the game. Like I just
Yeah.
feel like keeping that guy in the game was dangerous because he's
Um,
lucky no one on the Sabres made a run at him because he definitely could have gotten injured too.
dude, he and what was it, Sorelli hit Tage in the numbers when he doesn't have the puck. Then you do that.
Yeah.
Like, and the Sabres didn't put them in a position where they could, give up a minor, a double minor, even a major for going after him because, yeah, you fell behind 7-5, which gross. Glad they won. Awesome comeback. I apologize to my neighbors after Josh Stone scored. But I don't know. I think they whiffed on that. And again, I'm trying to like that specifically, that play, if it was again Seattle and Anaheim or something like that, I'd be saying the same thing. That deserves for you to get kicked out. I don't care if you connected or not, man. He's very clearly not engaged with you. And again, we can have the conversation is like, why are you starting something if you're not willing to drop the gloves? Fine, fair enough. But that play specifically, he's just trying to he cross-checked him. Have you ever looked at the front of the net in an NHL hockey game? It's cross checks all over the place. Why do you think Chris Pronger had a frickin' and Zdeno Chara had a career? And it wasn't even that bad. So again, if he said something or
It
did something earlier in the
yeah.
game, I guess, but nothing, at least on the video that we all saw, shows like that. That just looked like a level 10 crash out to me.
I do think the game really seemed like it was all a strategy from Tampa to kind of come out
Yeah, of
and play
course it was.
dirty because I really think at this point they realized like just playing straight up hockey, like the Sabres might be like a slightly better team than us right now.
Mhm. Right
So
now, not overall,
yeah,
but right now, at like this
uh,
game, this time period.
yeah,
Yeah.
like especially looking at their lineup too. It's like they legitimately kind of had two fourth lines. It's kind of a very top heavy team. Like their top lines are obviously really good, but
Mhm.
it's not exactly a deep team at this stage of their kind of evolution as a franchise. Like they're getting older. A lot of the depth guys are either aged out or signed elsewhere, or they had to
Mhm.
move for cap reasons. So I do think like this is a team that really thought they could come into Buffalo, kind of punch them in the mouth a little bit, and get the Sabres scared and pull out a win. And they almost did do that. They were
Mhm.
up
Oh, yeah.
6-4 and 7-5
Mhm.
in the third period. But I think this is really why it's such a statement win from the Sabres because they looked like a team that was about to kind of crumble to a physical Lightning team and lose a
Mhm.
heartbreaker at home, and they just fight back and win just a legendary hockey game. Like that's gonna be a game I'll be telling my grandkids about someday. Like that's one of those games where
What
Yeah.
what did you say yesterday? It was like, that's the kinda game you pull up highlights on a first date for or something like that?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's gonna be my new go-to, like, anytime I meet someone new or they're like, "Oh, what's Buffalo like?" I'll show them the full 10:30, Sportsnet highlights of of that Sabres Lightning game.
Ah, man, that's good for the league.
Yeah,
People coming out of the woodworks to talk about a regular season game,
and
what was it,
it
like
wasn't even a
64?
TNT game either. They had, I think they had Bruins, like, Penguins on at, like, 4. Like,
Mm.
why do you have that game on instead of Sabres Lightning?
Would be more interesting if Crosby and Malcolm were in the lineup, I guess? I don't it
Even
must
if
have been
they were,
preset saying they're not gonna
it's like,
flex
yeah,
stuff?
yeah, it's like this game would have been cool like 15 years ago, but we have like a huge divisional rival. I mean, at this point, a huge divisional rival competing for first in the division after kind of a chippy game last time in Tampa. It got a little chippy towards the end there, so I just feel like the NHL has to get better with being able to flex things more last minute. I know this one was
Mhm.
tougher because they would have had to move the time up like 2 hours,
Yeah,
kind of short notice. But
yeah.
yeah, it's just terrible seeing like I think there's even like a Devils Rangers game on Saturday that was on ESPN. Like why are some of these games like nationally televised? It's hard to grow the sport when you're showing like non-playoff teams right when we're
Yeah.
getting to like March, April hockey with the playoff race heating up. I just think the NHL needs to do a better job, like being more flexible with adding the new and exciting teams and kind of letting go of like the old guard, the boring
Yeah.
teams.
I mean, some of it I'm sure is they're planning beforehand and they're hoping it's like that Monday night game in week 14, and you're like, "Why are these 2 teams playing?" And then you look back and you're like, "Oh, well, they were actually supposed to be, like, kinda good."
Yeah.
So, like and then you're like, "Well, one team's 5-11, the other is 4-12 or whatever." I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Well, that was 16 games. Anyway, don't check my math on that. Don't you dare. But this I'm in your shoes as well, thinking what like try to get these marquee matchups on there, but like you said, trying to push it up a couple hours as well because then they have to,
Yeah.
they have that time slot as well. I do understand that, but I can also understand what you're saying is like, hey, maybe do all you can to get the Sabres and Tampa on there, and um,
Yeah, it's like,
oh,
the games they moved too, I think, for the Sabres to national TV were funny enough, against both Boston and Pittsburgh. It's like, I really don't
is
care
there
about
one?
either of those teams when the Sabres play them.
Is there one coming against the Flyers that they changed as well, like middle of March, like next week or something like that? Is that? Oh man, correct me if I'm wrong. It
I
went from
wanna
like
say
7
it
to
I wanna say
7:30.
it's against the Bruins. I know they play the
Maybe
Bruins
yes. Yep.
soon.
Sorry, excuse me. That is the 25th at 7:30.
Yeah. It's like that
25th.
game, like, Bruins might be out of a playoff spot by then, so it's like I'd
Yeah.
rather see the Sabres against a more fun opponent there and be on national TV, but I guess
Well,
Boston's like a traditional hockey market, maybe that's why. I don't really
it's
know what goes behind it all.
it's also Wednesday night, which I think TNT kind of has a lock on because that Friday,
Yeah,
the 27th of March, Sabres versus Red Wings. Like, of
that's
course,
gonna be a good one.
you'd
Yeah.
wanna do that one, but I don't think they show any Friday night games, which is unfortunate, so
Yeah, like, I think in terms of, really just exciting Sabres games right now, at least with divisional teams, I think, absolutely top 2 right now, I think are Tampa and Montreal.
mhm.
I think that's always must-watch TV, and then I think Detroit is not too far behind. Like, they've had some heated games in the past,
Yes, I have.
but they're definitely right in the mix too, and I think, just looking at the Sabres' potential first-round matchup, obviously, things will change a lot if they do end up winning division. That'd be pretty crazy, but
Mhm.
it does look like at this point it'll probably be like Montreal or Detroit. It's so tough at this point because I do think a team like Boston could potentially fall off, and someone like Columbus or Ottawa
Yeah.
could stay hot and sneak in.
Mhm.
So, yeah, the Sabres' opponent for at this stage of the season, still a lot of hockey left, but it is
Oh, yeah.
pretty up in the air for there being like under 20 games left.
Well, that's kinda why I said the whole, like, "Job's not finished." This is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm having a ball. I've had the past 24 hours being a Sabres fan has been so fun. Past 48 hours, it's been so fun. Since December, it's been so fun. Job's not finished. This first place could turn into a wild card spot pretty quickly if
Yeah,
you go
easily.
on a slide. That's just how close the East is. I'm not trying to be a downer and try to rain on everyone's parade, but there's no parade yet. They haven't even locked up a playoff spot yet. Gotta stick with it. Gotta stick with it. Great game. One of the probably the best regular season game I've seen. Except the one thing that came up to me was right before the playoffs, the Flyers and Pittsburgh when I was back and living in Philly, I think. So probably 2011, 2010, something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was like Scott Hartnell messing with like the Hulk Hogan doing this thing. That
Yeah, and
game was
then
on the same level
Crosby
as the Sabres game.
I remember Crosby getting into it too, like, he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
he was, like, getting involved in scrums and stuff
Cl
as well.
and
That
then
yeah, it was such a fun series.
that was wild. Claude Giroux lays out Crosby and then goes down and snipes one like bar in and like yeah, it
Yeah.
that's one because it was a regular season game and then they got matched up in the playoffs. So the regular
Yeah, the
season
playoff
mayhem.
series was crazy.
Yeah. So that's the only game that I've seen that was like that because I think that game might have ended like 5-4 or something like that, Flyers or something. Or I can't remember. I could probably look it up, but
Yeah, like,
high
it's
scoring, lots of fights.
it's rare you get the mix of both that we got last night. Like, we
Yeah.
not only got just, like, a crazy high scoring game, we also got how many fights? Like, 7 fights and let alone the penalty minutes, I think over 100
Mhm.
penalty minutes. Like, to get both of those in one game, usually you get one or the other, so this was like it was kinda like that Ottawa game 1 in '06 where Sabres are going back and forth with them, and Tim Connolly scored that insane goal, and Sabres end up winning that one. It was
Mhm.
kinda like that, like, almost mixed with the Brawl game somewhat.
Yeah.
It was like the best of both worlds, just like the perfect hockey game. Like, I think really that
Mhm.
game kinda displayed why I think, in my opinion, hockey is the best sport around. I think that game kind of showed that because it's like it's not many other games where you get that amount of chaos and that amount of entertainment in like 3 hours. Like it was crazy just seeing that, and it's really cool to have the Sabres be a part of it and have this be a really meaningful game for the Sabres too. I think that's really why it's such a statement win because I do think there's a bunch of, like, Sabres fans that are maybe on the fringes, like, this will be the game that'll pull those people back in. Like, we've obviously been amongst the diehards, hanging out with the diehards on here for the past 5.5 years of doing this, but
Oh, yeah.
in order for the Sabres to survive in a market like Buffalo, you need to reel those fringe fans back in, and I think a game like last night kind of reminds people of, why hockey is so fun, why Sabres hockey is so fun when they're good. So I think just all around, that game wasn't just important for 2 points above Tampa in the standings. I think it was also
Mhm.
important in terms of this team finally getting, like, their statement win, the city becoming more
Mhm.
familiar with this team and, this team kinda continuing to build their identity because I think this last game against Tampa will be a game that's kind of building this team's identity. It'll be a game we talk about 20 years from now when we look back upon this season. So, just
Oh, yeah.
all around, just such a cool game.
I've been harping on this whole Andy Bernard from The Office, played by Ed Helms, basically saying, like, "I wish we knew we were in the good old days while they were here," or whatever the quote is, and I'm like, "This is right now, guys. This is happening right
Yeah.
now. It's happening right now. Cherish it, remember it." So, my thing is, like, keep going, foot on the gas, boot to throat kind of thing. I will say, statement win for the Sabres for themselves, for their fans. I'm glad that game was in Buffalo as well, in front of Sabres
Yeah.
fans to bring them into it as well. I will say that remake of the Better Days Goo Goo Doll video that they make this year,
It's gonna
because
be
they will make
crazy.
it, or we burn the place down. We don't, but that's going to hit. I might start crying. Not really, but look, this is a long time coming, and I think we can all agree that we are happy. We were just happy to make the playoffs, and again, they haven't made it, but I'm going based off of the projections. It's how they made it. We would have been happy if they just squeaked in because some other team just
Yeah.
the bottom fell out, Pittsburgh Steelers wise style, and they had a great run and it just all fell out and the Sabres squeak in. But they're like, no, 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 no. We are making the playoffs. We're not going to squeak into the playoffs. We're making the playoffs. And I think that's gravy on top. And another gravy on top thing is, look, I think we can all expect if they come out against San Jose and they're flat or they don't play well or they lose, you're like, look, not great, but fine. You won 7 straight. Talk about gravy statement on top of that statement is coming out against San Jose and doing the exact same thing. Relentless. We've seen how this team plays, and this is why I feel like Buffalo's taking them so hard, but so well, is because they play so hard. It's not that they're scoring all these goals and winning with style. No, it's the forecheck constantly in your face. How many times before where it just looks like this team laid over and died? That is the last thing you think of when you watch this team.
Yeah, like that Colorado, was a 5-goal comeback
Mhm,
years ago,
mhm.
just stuff like that. Like,
Yep.
this game was almost the exact opposite. It's almost at the point where I'm not even emotionally prepared for losses. Like, that's how good this team has been playing.
I will say I'm not emotionally prepared for the playoffs. I thought it was, I'm like, "Let's go playoff
Yeah,
hockey," and then the way
playoffs
I
too.
felt after that game, I'm like, I might end up in a hospital. The
Yeah,
heart rate's
like,
just gonna go too hard, folks.
overtime game and playoffs, like, I don't even know what that even feels like. Like, I knew what it felt like when I was, like, in 8th grade, but as, like, as, like, an adult now, I don't even know how I'll emotionally handle a Sabres playoff overtime game.
I can tell you how I'll handle it. It'll be a grown man screaming at his TV.
Yeah.
It's I can't. Again, it's been a long time coming. But I also want to, for me personally, I'm not saying anyone else has to do this. I want to act appropriately in the sense of like not there yet. A lot of more fun games coming up as well. This was awesome. I loved the Tampa game. They have more fun games coming up as well. Detroit, they got Ottawa, they have Tampa again. Starts with San Jose tomorrow. Then we have Washington on Thursday, and you round out the weekend against Toronto. What are you looking to see? I already said I want to see them come out the same way against San Jose. Whether they win or lose, come out with the same intensity. But what do you want to see for the rest of the week for this team before the weekend?
I guess just some wins, but I know just with the 3-game stretch, the teams obviously aren't the greatest, because you have a San Jose team who's on the rise. They're probably still not a playoff team yet. You have a Washington team that's kinda reeling after trading John Carlson and Nick Dowd. It seems like the
Yeah.
veteran guys there seem pretty unhappy. And then you have the Toronto team who hasn't won a game since returning from the Olympic break. Just look
Mhm.
terrible all around, like, really just, like, not good
Ooh,
hockey.
yeah.
So it's like, a Sabres loss is probably coming in, like, one of these 3 games, at least you would think so. So I think for me, I guess it's just try to win these 3, but I realize it's not as realistic as it seems, even though they're the better team than those 3 teams. Like, a loss has to be due eventually. But at the same time, I've been proven wrong by this group before with the amount of wins compared to losses they've been able to pull out during this stretch. So I will say, like, just, yeah, continue to play the same hockey. This is kind of, I don't want to call it like the dog days of like the regular
Yeah.
season, because we are like ramping up towards the playoffs, but these are games that aren't really against teams that they're competing head to head with in the playoff race. But thankfully they're at home. And
Yeah.
we saw how rowdy that crowd got against Tampa. I think there are a lot of people watching that game from home that were like, "Oh,
Looking up
now I
tickets.
gotta get to some games." Like the San Jose game, they sold so many tickets, like, the last 24 hours. Like, it's pretty
Yeah.
insane. That game's gonna be a sellout. That's been their 9th straight sellout, and then you have another home game Thursday against Washington.
Mhm.
That's, could be on its way to being a sellout as well, and Saturday, I believe, is already sold out, but it will be sold out because there's only a few seats left, so
It's Toronto. I mean,
it
they always
yeah,
I love how we're getting
it's
dunked on
crazy.
for I love how we're getting dunked on for having, like, other fans come, especially, like, Toronto and, like,
Yeah.
Montreal. It's like a place that's not that far away where you can make, like, a day trip and spend less money. Like,
Yeah,
what a
it's also
burn, I guess. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of having, like, a ton of other fans in the barn either, but, like, it's not I personally don't feel like it's the burn you think it is.
well, it's just not because like, Tampa fans really just don't understand how big hockey is in Canada, and we have the largest
Like,
city in Canada
yeah,
2 hours from us. The metro area kind of bleeds over into Southern Ontario, so we have millions of people
yeah.
in a
It's like
country where hockey is the biggest sport,
it's our
and you
national
probably have
sport.
fans of every team too. Because like, we were talking about
Oh,
in the
yeah. Oh,
game
absolutely.
at the game Saturday, it's, like, it's
Mhm.
crazy there's, like, Nashville fans from, like, Ontario, like, from
Yeah.
Canada, but, like, thinking about it, it's like
Well,
these guys in
like
the NHL are drafted out of, like, the OHL, like, so you could have, like, a cousin that played on, like, the North Bay Battalion that was, like, a 5th round pick to Nashville and, like, went up through the system. Like, you have so many ties to so many different NHL teams, and that's not even talking about the big ones there, like Toronto,
mhm,
Montreal. Those are obviously 2 just massive fan bases. But, yeah, I really
huge.
do think people don't understand the economics of why there's so many Toronto and Montreal fans in Buffalo, because they could come to games a lot cheaper.
Mhm.
Schedule comes out, they circle that on the calendar, buy tickets as soon as they release. For me as a Sabres fan, I don't really care if they're playing the Leafs or Canadians. That wouldn't be the first game I look to buy. So it's just an unfortunate situation, but with how it's currently set up, like the ticket market, that's just how it works. I really don't think it'll be a problem for the playoffs, though. I do think I'd be shocked if that many seats end up even available to the public after it runs through the season ticket holders and the
Yeah,
mini pack holders. I guess you just hope the season ticket holders don't use like the extra seats they could buy to just resell
yeah,
on the open market. That would be one scenario where it could end up poorly. But yeah, I do think like when push comes to shove, I think big time playoff game, I think it's going to be mainly Sabres fans, even if they play a team like Montreal, even a team like Detroit that has a ton of Canadian fans. I do think
yeah,
Sabres fans will turn out for the playoffs.
yeah, and especially, like, Southern teams being like, "Opposing fans in your building, man." It's just like,
Yeah,
that's why
that's
you
like
have
all
a
their games are.
team.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Half
the
their
only
fans
reason you have
were
a team. It's
half their fans
that's
were living
crazy.
in like Indiana or Ohio like 10 years ago. They probably weren't
Yeah.
watching Lightning games. Like it's not
No.
really a place where a lot of
Oh,
people are from in a lot of these hockey markets. So
oh.
I
Between
just find it
cups,
yeah.
it's like between cups, like, I'm not trying to just beat up on Tampa, but, like, between cups, Tampa sucked. I mean, they were a complete afterthought. Same thing with Florida. I was surprised the last time the Sabres were down there in Florida, how many empty seats there were. I'm like, "This team just won back-to-back Stanley Cups.
Yeah, it's
This is a
definitely
this is a big game too. Why is no one here, man? This is crazy."
I do think their games I mean, don't get me wrong, they do have a lot of dedicated fans there and fans that have stuck through it, so I'm not trying to
Oh, yeah.
send shots at those people, but I
No.
do think, like, the majority of the crowd there at those games, at least from my experience, like, they're there to, like, party almost, like, it's like an entertainment option
Yeah.
versus, like, Buffalo, it's like if they go down 3 nothing or they're down like 4 goals, like fans will just be like upset. Like the Tampa game, they were actually down like 4 goals or 5 goals, I forget what it was. And then they scored their first goal of the game. The arena was going like crazy. Like I've never heard an arena so loud, like scoring a goal up 4. But then I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of like an entertainment thing for these people. And it's not as much like live or die by this team's success. So I really feel like that's kind of the difference with our fan base specifically, or really any like kind of Rust Belt City fan base, is that like this team is like part of our identity. Like it's a lot of people just identify with the city so much, and our
Mhm.
sports teams are a huge part of our identity on a national scale. Like when someone from like Oregon or Nevada or Nebraska think about Buffalo,
Mhm.
like the first thing that comes to mind will probably be our sports team. So it's really like a representation of us. And I really think when it comes down to it, that's a difference between a historic, older, like kind of Rust Belt City fan base in Buffalo versus like these newer Sun Belt kind of like, oh, I'm gonna post this game on my Instagram story. I got like a $25 canned cocktail. I just moved here from somewhere else. Like it's
Yeah.
just a different vibe with Sabres games.
Yeah. I mean, I it the fact that well, we're preaching to the choir when it comes to this because like, Sabres fans are listening to this, so,
Yeah.
like, we don't have to be like, "They don't understand." No, like, everyone here understands, so, and that's not just Tampa, that's for if, New Orleans got a team or, like, Dallas feels unique, but if Austin got a team or any of those teams down there, it's just like, yeah, I mean, look, you might have genuine hockey fans just like Tampa does or Florida does or Arizona does, but overall, it's not that high
Yeah, like
on their list. Yeah.
emotionally, it's just not the same. Like, I feel
No,
like
it's
that's
just
why
not, yeah.
Tampa fans didn't really understand that Sabres game last night because we were pretty much like almost the equivalent of like being locked in a dark room for like 14 years. And now we're
Yeah.
finally able to come out of that room. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of like what this Sabres team is like to us. And it's why people are celebrating so much and are so emotional and like can't stop talking about this team is
Mhm.
because it just means so much because we didn't have this for so long, and a lot of people, this was such a big part of their lives in, like, the late '90s, the '05, '06, '07 teams, even, like, the '80s teams, the '70s, they were good, like, really every decade they had those teams. We haven't had those teams in a while, and there's people that are, like, 22 years old right now that don't even remember a good Sabres team. So, like, there's, like, actual, like, adults right now that are walking around not even knowing what this feels like, so I just think for people who don't pay attention to the Sabres, like, year-round every year, I think maybe you don't understand it, but, yeah, for us Sabres fans, it's like,
Yeah.
this kinda means everything now. It's like we've been waiting for this for so long.
I was about to say, is it worth the wait? No. It wasn't. That was
No, yeah.
excruciating. It wasn't worth the wait. I've tried. I
I I
tried, guys.
I would have been just as happy with them making the playoffs after a 6-year drought as I would
Yeah,
right now probably, so, yeah, I'd say
exactly, so
no.
here's the thing, like, I'm starting to this is more like a personal thing, but, like, I'm struggling with it, but, like, the past is the past. No matter how much you wanna change it or do something over or wish this went a different way or whatever, the past is the past, there's nothing you can do about it, just learn from your mistakes and move on. And that's the thing, like, that's the thing, that's also, like, a weird feeling after you win a championship. It's like you celebrate, you celebrate, you celebrate, it's like, okay, now it's in the past. Really, whatever happens in the future, like, the only thing that matters is the present and the future kind of thing. So that's kind of where I'm at as well, where it's just like the past is in the past, nothing you can do. Where are we at now with the Sabres? Awesome. Looking
Yeah.
really good for the playoffs. Let's go here, kind of thing. You can't forget about that stuff. You can't brush it under the rug or anything like that. You have to acknowledge. But, you know, the harping away on, old times is something that I'm gonna be doing less and less because it's like, look, where are we at now? Where are we going? And where we are at now is first place in the Atlantic Division, which is a lot of fun. Big game against San Jose. These are all big games. I don't want to say must-win games or anything like that because there are must-win games. But I'd say big game. See how they respond after a big emotional dump.
No more Jeff Skinner either, that's unfortunate. I don't even think he can sign with the team and play in the playoffs anymore because no one signed him before the deadline, so
Wait, did
that
they?
that
Yeah, they let him. I thought. Wait, they didn't let him go after
yeah.
the. Yeah, they let him go before. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no one signed him, so he's pretty much done for the year at this point, so it
He's
would've
still
been
going to
fun
be
to have him
making.
come back.
Oh, no,
I mean, no, not
he's
not
still
on the
making
Sabres
plenty of
team.
money from the Sabres. I don't need
No,
to.
yeah, no, yeah, I should have said something differently, like, I don't want him back in the Sabres team. It'd been fun to have him come back as, like, a member of the Sharks, so give him, like,
Yeah.
one last, like, cheer, like, before the Sabres break the drought because he was a big part of them almost breaking it in 22, 23, and he was someone that, you know, he was loyal to the crest every season he was here, I thought. He was just playing as hard as he could, and maybe not on defense, but on offense,
I
he
was
was
gonna.
playing as hard as he could.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But yeah,
That's
he'll be like those drought Bills players that you just always think about, like just those types of
Paul
guys, like a CJ
Plus
Spiller. Oh yeah, Posluszny,
Slusley.
like a
Oh, man, I
Takeo
tried.
Spikes. Like
Yeah,
I
Tequila
just feel
Spikes,
like
I should've said his name.
yeah,
You know
Jeff
me and
Skinner's
last
just like
names.
one of those guys.
Yeah.
But it's interesting too, like, now that the Bills are better, they'll probably be the same thing with the Sabres too, like, you don't really think about the drought as much anymore, like, the drought with the Bills, like, I acknowledge it happened. I went through
Yeah.
I went through a ton of those games when the drought was happening,
Mhm.
uh,
That's
but, like,
true.
nowadays, like, I don't really think about it as much as I
Well,
did back then, when back then it felt like everything.
the reason you don't think about it, it wasn't just like a one-off playoff. run, and yeah, they made it in
Yeah,
17, didn't make it in 18, but then they came 19, and they've been in the playoffs ever since.
yeah.
Same thing with the Sabres.
They
If
need
they
to
make the
get back
playoffs
to
in the
that.
next season, there's no guarantees they make the playoffs. And look, they could also have a down year, miss the playoffs, and then the next year they're right back in it too. But I think the sustained thing is where I really am like, okay, the drought's
Yeah.
gone. Because
Well, I
everyone's
mean,
gonna be, it's going to be very easy to say that was a fluky year. You were on a PDO
yeah.
high. Um, that's why you made the playoffs. But if you start doing it more consistently and establishing that culture that we saw with the Bills when McDermott was there
Yep.
and hopefully sticks around with Brady, same thing here.
That was a Sabres thing at one point too. Like, that used to be their
Yeah.
thing, was just always consistently be
Mhm.
able to make it to the playoffs, like, maybe 1 or 2
Yeah.
down years, but they'd be back in with the new group. So, yeah, really, if they could get back to that, and I know it's been a while since you kinda had Terry Pagula speak about the Sabres, but he did mention, like, sustainability. I think hopefully now he's finally starting to realize, like, the way you build sustainability is by getting, like, actual hockey people and actual hockey roles. So it took him a while to figure that out, but I do think with how their current front office is structured, like, they're obviously not being cheap anymore. They have Yarmo as their GM, they have Mark Bergevin working in the front office. They
Yeah.
took him from another NHL front office. They have
Mhm.
Stacy Roest, who was, like, the head of player development in Tampa for years.
Mhm.
They brought him on as, like, a scout, and I'd imagine he's probably doing, like, consulting and whatnot in other parts of the organization. So they're not cheaping out anymore. I do think they finally realize you have to spend money to build a sustainable program, and it's encouraging as a Sabres fan. They still have, like, one of the youngest rosters in the NHL even after they picked up some older guys at the deadline, so there's still a good future with this team.
What was it? They went from, like, 2nd youngest team in the league to
Yeah, to,
6th or
like,
7th, did I
4th.
hear?
Yeah,
Was
like,
it?
s yeah, they dropped, like, 4 spots, I think. They're still, like, top 10, so obviously, that stat changes a lot because there's always, like, call-ups and sending a guy
Yeah.
back down to the minors, but,
Yeah.
like, they could add 28-year-olds, 30-year-olds to this team. They're still one of the 10 youngest teams in the league, and they didn't give up much in the way of the future at the trade deadline. Like, I'm sure this offseason, they're gonna revisit St. Louis and probably look to part with some of their younger pieces. They could get something done with, maybe rechecking on Parayko or check back in on Thomas. So,
I
there's
think it's
still
just the
moves to be made.
the length of Parayko's contract was my thing. Like, does he make you better this
Yeah.
year? 100%, 100%. Like, going forward is like, what do you do? I'm sure they probably would figure it out, I would assume, but
That
it's just
cap's going up like crazy, though.
it
Like, they
is.
had,
So,
Alan Walsh tweeted out, I
yeah,
think,
I did see that.
yesterday, like, the cap's going up like 30, like, projected based on the hockey-related revenue. I think they're projecting to go up like $30 million by 28, 29, which would be remarkable. Like, that would make a Parayko contract seem like just a regular depth defenseman contract.
Also be interested to see where he plays. What do you do with Bo Byram in that situation as
Yeah.
well? Sounds like they weren't really interested in getting rid of anyone on their roster anyway, which I agree with. I was kind of on the same thing. I mean, there might have been 1 or 2 players that have been like, "Okay, send them." But other than that, I appreciate that they didn't mess with things too much there. Something I saw, I don't know who put this out there, but I thought it was an interesting question. I saved it till now. What do you do about Lindy Ruff? His contract's supposed to be up at the end of the season. I mean, like, I personally am just basically like, if Lindy wants to come back for a couple of years, I'm like, yeah, sure, sounds good. Unless you specifically know, like, this is the guy we need to bring in, but I don't think there's someone like that out there. But if Lindy's like, hey, I just want to hang it up and I just want to go live my life now, I can also understand that. What do you think about Lindy? I'm just curious.
At this point, I think you do whatever Lindy wants to do. If he wants to come
Mm,
back,
makes sense.
I think he's earned the right to come back. If he wants to retire, I wouldn't pressure him into coming back. I think it if this season, like, they're probably gonna break the drought this year. It's probably coming this year, and
Looking
it's
likely,
like,
yeah.
if he does that, like, he's pretty much Mr. Sabre. Like, he was a
Yeah,
part of this
kind of is, but
organization,
yeah.
yeah, for most of his existence. I think even prior to him returning to this team, you could have considered him that, but I think this really just seals the deal that he is, like, actually Mr. Sabre. Like, the last time they made it to the playoffs, before the drought started, Lindy Ruff was their head coach, and then we're looking. It's going to be 15 years later. Lindy Ruff is the head coach, and they're making the playoffs. Like it's just
It's
almost
crazy.
like a storybook ending to this terrible stretch in Sabres franchise history. So I'd rather have no other person than Lindy kind of guide the Sabres through both this season and in the future if he wants to stay. Like he clearly has so much experience, and I'd imagine, and he's even mentioned as well, he's learned a lot even since he left the Sabres in
Yeah.
2012, 2013, that season. Like he's learned a lot since then. And I think just that knowledge and experience he brings to that locker room, like he's been in every situation possible
Yeah.
with how long he's been in the NHL. I just think he's so valuable to have. And yeah, I'd be willing to keep him for as long as he wants to stay here.
Agreed. I also would say if he was like, "Hey, look, I want to be in the organization, but I don't want to be a coach. Get your butt in the front office. Happy to have you, Lindy. You're not going to
Yeah.
be making decisions or anything like that, but we definitely value you being in the room. There's nothing wrong with that too. He wouldn't have to travel to every game or be on the ice for practices and stuff like that, and still be involved. So I could totally see that happening too. I would definitely support it. Lindy Ruff's just like you said, he's Mr. Sabre, Mr. Buffalo, whatever you want to call him. He's earned it, man. Lindy Ruff is Buffalo through and through, and I'm just really excited to see what he does for the rest of the season with this team. No outline, just kind of riffed for our 100th episode. If you made it this far, thank you. I'm still kind of, dude, I'll be honest. I'm still just kind of not interpreting everything that's happened in the past like 24 hours. And this is, I feel
Yeah.
like I don't even know what to talk about kind of thing. It's been not a weird episode in the sense of I think it's a bad episode, but I've just been so like, wow, this team's crazy.
Yeah, I had to
It-
rewatch highlights of the game last night this morning to make sure it was real and I didn't just like
yeah.
wake up from a dream. Like that was
That
yeah,
was wild.
I'd be shocked if like maybe the magnitude of another hockey game I go to will be greater than what was at stake that game. But in terms of pure entertainment, I
You've
doubt I'll see another game like that in my lifetime in person.
you've been to what, the Bean Pot Finals? You've been
Yeah.
to World Juniors games. You can actually tell this better. Those are what I know you've been to. You can say more, but like I agree.
Canada World Juniors games 2011, those things got insanely loud. I
Okay.
think that was probably up there with like the loudest I've heard the arena until the game last night. Like it was pretty wild. But yeah, to see the Sabres just like we talked about it all the time, where it's like this team doesn't need to do really anything at all to bring fans back other than winning. And I think this season has kind of proved that point. Literally, all they had to do is just start winning, and the fans will be right back. Like, I really don't think there's been lost generations of Sabres fans just because this team wasn't winning during that era. Like, sure, some kids may not have experienced like a winning Sabres team, but it won't take them too long to get familiar with what a winning hockey team is like in the city of Buffalo. So, yeah, it's really just a special hockey market. And I think the resiliency of the fan base here is like one of the reasons why it's been able to survive in this market for so long.
I will admit for the past couple seasons, I was like contemplating, I'm like, I think I might be done with this team by the end of the season. Then the off season starts rolling. You're like, all right, I know these scumbags are going to pull me back in. And then
Yeah.
by preseason, I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm freaking all in, baby. Those again, like I said, leaving things in the past. So that is in the past. The future is bright for not only the Buffalo Sabres, but for the Sabermetrics podcast. Boom. How do you like that transition? And I just wanted to reiterate our appreciation for everyone that supported us thus far. We're about an hour in, and I feel like it's probably our sweet spot to go ahead and end it. I'm assuming we're probably not going to have another episode this week. Let's just go ahead and enjoy the next couple games. If the Sabres lose, understandable. Let's just hope that, again, if there are any losses, you cut those off real quick and get right back to it. There's so much more that we could talk about, but I think we should probably cut ourselves off here. Walt, unless you have another topic you want to talk about, is there anything else you wanted to depart with?
Yeah, I think we might as well just cut it off in an hour. But yeah, I'll just say thanks everyone for listening. you guys are the reasons we're at 100 episodes. If we had 5 viewers or 5 listeners every episode, we definitely wouldn't have made it this far. Definitely wouldn't have the motivation to do it. So it's because
Yeah.
of you guys that we keep going.
I will say, like, we are sicko, so we still, like, the
Yeah,
numbers would have to be real bad.
yeah,
The numbers are great. It's not something we focus on too much. But yeah, if no one's listening, then yes. But I will say I'm loving the live streams and being able to interact with people as well.
yeah,
I really do enjoy that. This is just our one of our normal podcast episodes, and we hope you enjoy. And it's something that you can, just flick on when you're working out, stuff like that. That's usually what we're trying to do. Talk some Sabres, have some fun, make some jokes,
yeah.
try to
Just
try
like
to
the
pronounce some last names.
community, the community with our podcast and everything, really just Sabres
It's
fans.
great.
Oh yeah, also I'm trying to start
Oh,
Sabres backers group in Boston. So any of our listeners that's from Boston, stay posted. I'm in talks with some of the Bills backers bars right now, trying to get some Sabres watch parties going. But yeah, it'll be fun to like connect with some Sabres fans and enjoy watching the team together because
mhm,
I don't think anyone's deserved it more than Sabres fans. Like what's going to be
yeah.
coming like these next few weeks and hopefully in the playoffs. It's exciting stuff, and I'm excited to be able to speak on a podcast about this team like when we finally turn things around, which we have.
We've been praying for days like this. Well,
Yeah,
look, it's very likely they make the playoffs, but it's not clinched yet. But I'm looking forward to once they punch their ticket to be at worst the second wild card team. We're gonna have some fun. I'm
yeah,
not gonna be as
absolutely.
uptight, and we're gonna have some fun. So, look, what a fantastic, the best regular season game I've ever seen in my life yesterday.
Yeah,
Anyone tries to tell you otherwise, or oh, you're acting like a regular season game's your Super Bowl. Let them have that
yeah,
opinion. You know that was one of the best hockey games in the regular season in many, many, many years.
yeah. I mean,
Enjoy.
if they lost that game, I probably would have been acting like, oh yeah, that game was overrated. But
I
since
mean,
they won that game,
I would like to think that I feel the same way. It's just like awesome, fantastic game. Loved that. And other games like, oh man, that sucks. All right. Well, we got another game here. Let's go, boys. Let's
yeah,
get 2 points there too. So it's you have to have a quick turnaround, quick memory, or I guess quick to forget. So
yeah,
let's
absolutely.
let's hope the Sabres do that because Macklin Celebrini and his boys are coming to Buffalo Tuesday night. Looking forward to watching that game. Looking forward to more episodes with you, Walt, and looking forward to more live streams with all of our fans. Again, we appreciate you if you've made it this far and sticking along with us for 100 episodes. Here's to 100 more. We'll catch you on the next one.